All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. We're going to look at Unit 3, Lesson 4, which is all about determining if a real-world problem is proportional or not, and I can write an equation for real-world problems. So we're going to get some word problems here, and we're going to translate that into y equals mx plus b. Let's get going here. 3 pages of notes today, so 3 videos. Make sure you check all 3 out. Equations to solve with real-world problems. Write an equation for the following real-world problems. Remember, we're using y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. And we're trying to pick out specific terms, phrases, um, variables from our words and our sentences and translate that into a equation. So let's get going here. First one here, the current temperature is 54 degrees Fahrenheit. It is expected to rise 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit each hour. Define each variable. So we know right away that one of our variables here is hours. So we're going to use h, and we're going to use that for hour. The next one that we're going to define is our temperature, because that's what we're trying to find. We're trying to define, or trying to find what the temperature is going to be like. Remember when we use T's? We tried not to, because sometimes people write T's like that. Looks like a plus sign, but we're going to use T. We're just going to make sure that we write it with a little tail there, and that's the temperature. As you notice, we have a couple things circled here. 54 degrees, 2.5 degrees. Is underlined because is means equals. And each, well, each is going to be multiplication. So we defined our variables. Now we want to see what we have. We know at the end that we need y equals mx plus b, except we might be using different variables this time. So we know that we start at the current temperature, and that's 54 degrees. Okay. 54 degrees, and then it's expected to rise. Rise means that we're going to add 2.5 degrees. And we know that it's going to go 2.5 degrees each hour. Each means multiplication and hour. And that's going to equal our final temperature. Okay. So we can say, we can flip some things around. Temperature is going to equal 2.5 degrees every hour plus our current temperature, and that's going to be our final temperature. That's in our y equals mx plus b form. Okay. Let's rewrite that right underneath there. Y equals mx plus b. I know it's a little weird because we did some flipping around. We started with a current temperature. We figured out some things that would go up each hour. Each hour, the amount that goes up each hour is our slope. So if we were to graph that, this would be our slope. We would start at our y-intercept of 54. So then we have the question, in how many hours will the temperature be 84 degrees? So using that same equation, temperature equals 2.5 hours plus 54. Now this is saying that our temperature is our final temperature is 84 degrees. So we're going to substitute that in for our temperature. And we want to just solve this equation for hours. So what you do, first thing, remember two-step equations. We're jumping back a couple lessons here. Subtract 54 first from both sides. We're going to get 2.5 hours equals, these ones cancel, 84 minus 54 is 30. And then our last step is to divide both sides by 2.5. So we get h equals 30 over 2.5, which is h equals 12 hours. You're done. So with our current temperature at 54 and 12 hours at 2.5 degrees an hour will be 84 degrees. Second example here. You and your friend's lunch costs $19. Your lunch was $3 more than your friend's. I like to just circle numbers as we go through. More than is a good one. More than your friends. Write an equation and define the variables. Okay? So we want to know lunch costs. So that's going to be an L. We need to know that L equals, we want to know how much that is at the end. So let's write that equation. You and your friend's lunch costs $19. So we know together, both of them equal 19. We know that you bought how many lunches? We bought how many? Well, it's you and your friend. So we bought 2 lunches. 2 times the cost of lunch, but yours was $3 more. And we know that together that equals 19. But 2 lunches, yours was $3 more, and that equals 19. So how much was your friend's lunch? Well, let's just solve it. We want to find out how much one of these lunches is, because that's how much your friend's lunch cost, because yours was $3 more than that one. So what you want to do, subtract 3 from both sides. You're left with 2L equals 16. And then our last step, divide by 2, and you get L equals 8. So your lunch for your friend is $8. If you're keeping track of your notes pages, if you head back to page 15 on your notes, we talked about these there. And then lastly, let's do this one here, the quotient. Remember, quotient is division of a number. We're just going to use x and 5. That's just 5. Less means subtraction. 10 means equals, and 3. So you have the quotient of a number and 5, n divided by 5, less 10 minus 10 is 3. And that one is finished. That's it for page 1 of our notes. Come on back and check for the video 2. If you have any other questions, shoot me a message. Love to hear from you.